F-I-F-T-Y-C-E-N-T-and-S-N-double-O-B.
Yeah,
We internationally known.
can't forget. Top Magic
I
One.
know you done heard about me.
Woo!
F-I-F-T-Y-C-E-N-T-and-S-N-double-O-B. We internationally known and locally respected. Boy, I know you done heard about me. I'm a P.I.M.P.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but